It is 11 o'clock. We'll call this meeting to order on Thursday, December 4th, 2025, 11 o'clock. Here to discuss this litigation, and I'll turn it over to the prosecutor to kind of summarize what we're looking at.
Thank you, Commissioner Dose. Just to recap for the BOCC where we're at on this litigation. The litigation was filed early in the fall. The BOCC responded to that litigation first with an answer to the complaint, and then we followed that answer up by researching, evaluating, drafting, and then ultimately filing a motion to dismiss the action on behalf of the BOCC. That motion for dismissal was requesting that the court grant a motion to dismiss with prejudice, and also requested attorney's fees and costs to recoup for the county its expenditure and resources in defending the BOCC against the action. Subsequent to the filing of that motion to dismiss, counsel for the plaintiff in this action reached out to myself as counsel for the county and inquired about a willingness of the county to stipulate to a motion to dismiss the action. That is, opposing counsel indicated that his client had a desire to not proceed further with the litigation at this point, given the outcome of certain election results, and had indicated that it was their desire to go ahead and voluntarily dismiss the action, seeking to have the BOCC stipulate to that dismissal with the understanding that both sides would be responsible for costs and fees. In other words, the request of the county to have its costs and fees awarded to it by the court would be waived by way of us stipulating to the dismissal. Having received that proposal, I've forwarded it to the BOCC. We've engaged in discussions regarding what the liabilities to the county may or may not be as it pertains to this litigation, and I want to provide the BOCC with an opportunity to review the stipulated proposal from opposing counsel and provide me with some guidance and direction as your attorney for how you would like me to proceed forward on either agreeing to the stipulated motion for dismissal or proceeding forward further on asking the court to evaluate and make a ruling on the county's motion to dismiss so that the county could recoup its costs and fees to this point. So with that summary having been given, at this point I would merely like guidance from the commissioners themselves as to how you all would like me to proceed on the county's behalf.
So what you're looking for today is guidance, but you ultimately would make the final decision on this?
As legal counsel for the county, I essentially guide the litigation, and that I'm responsible for making the ultimate decisions when it comes to how the county is defended against these types of actions. Oftentimes when a suit against county officials names or alleges conduct by certain individuals, I'll loop in those individuals and consult with them to ascertain their desires and their preferences for how we proceed forward. This matter being one that directly involves the BOCC and potential county finances, I think it's even more prudent to solicit your input to say, what direction would you like to see the county move forward at this point?
Can you tell me about how much the county has expended so far on this case at this point? Do you have a rough estimate?
It would be a rough estimate. I would say that if I were to estimate those costs at this time, we probably are in or around the ballpark of $5,000.
$5,000. Thank you. Do we have any questions from the commission?
I guess, my only concern going forward is the judge. Naturally, I know I brought that up. That was, one of my biggest concerns, and the costs of it continuing on the county.
Okay.
So,
Well, Commissioner Zimmerman, any comments?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. That's also one of my concerns. One of my concerns is the, we would kind of be, in a sense, gambling on whether this decision, the decision can go forward, and it would be basically a 50-50 whether we would incur those fees, get those fees, or the judge could decide, well, no, it'll proceed and nobody's awarded costs. And my other concern is there's still a chance that the applicant could win, and then we would even incur a further loss. And furthermore, my other concern is we do have quite a caseload docket on county liability right now, and I think that our resources are stretched as they are, and my concern is strictly, can we do it? Can we afford it? And do we have the time and resources to do it? That's my concern at this point.
Okay. I think my concern is still that we've already expended $5,000. I would like to see the county try to recoup that, but sounds like you others, you've brought up valid points as well. Do we have a motion or further discussion?
Maybe I'll just provide some context. I think that, the points that have been raised, certainly as we've discussed internally what litigation looks like on behalf of a county, these are all the types of concerns we analyze, right? What is our cost incurred to date? In other words, that's employee time that's been invested as a direct result of litigation that's borne by taxpayers. The second part of the analysis is what additional time are we set to incur? In other words, if we proceed forward on litigation, we're continuing to have to expend our time to defend the action. So then what does that cost? And those are two separate costs, but they're both pertinent to the analysis. The next point that we analyze is, do we have relative certainty with what the outcome of a case is going to be, and certainty as to what? And here, certainly we've analyzed the strengths of the case. I think we believe the strengths of the merit of the county's defense is strong. I think we've got a high likelihood of having a judge look at this and look at the county's motion and view the county's position as being the prevailing one. That said, the question about the award of cost and fees is much more discretionary. So in other words, we could proceed down this path. We could get a favorable ruling on behalf of the county by expending even more resources to get that, and then at the end of the day, perhaps not have the court actually award the cost and fees back to us, wherein both sides could simply be responsible for their own cost and fees in the litigation. And so I think those are all very real risks to analyze, and that's why I think it's pertinent to have input from you all on where your stance is regarding those.
And just furthermore, Mr. Chairman, that kind of is my point. Whether if we even did have we have a good case to go forward, it's still the problem that I see is we still have that. There's still a big chance that we win on one part and we lose on getting any fees back. So it's always a sticky situation when we're looking at that. We've been very fortunate in the last two cases we've had, but it's just my concern is our finances.
Yeah, and Commissioner Zimmerman's correct. I mean, we've had the last couple of matters of litigation that we've decided to push forward with in defending the county that I've handled. I've been successful in getting a court to rule in our favor on the cost and fees. But every case is different and every judge is different. And so I can't come before this BOCC and use those past examples of me being successful getting our cost and fees as an indication of surety in this instance.
Okay. Well, we've all had a chance to share our opinions. Does anybody have anything further they want to say on the issue? So, if I understand this correctly, the prosecutor is looking for direction.
If you guys want to make that in the form of a motion, I'm fine with that.
Does anybody have a motion that they would like to make? At this point, it sounds like I'm differing with the other two. I understand the other points that you've made. I acknowledge those. I still think we should, since the other party has asked for this, it makes sense to me that we would ask for attorney's fees, but that's just my opinion. So I'd be leaning that direction, but it sounds like the other two are leaning towards accepting what the prosecutors presented here.
Mm-hmm.
And I would make a motion that we accept the what it would be the plaintiff's motion to dismiss.
Correct. The plaintiff stipulated motion to dismiss that they've requested the BOCC agree to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that your motion?
Is that your motion then?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay. Commissioner Cowles has seconded. Any last discussion or anybody with a further point they want to make?
No, and I do see Commissioner Dose's point. I do see that as well.
Okay.
I just want to make that. So
Yeah, and I'm just worried about the risk. It's like a 50-50.
Okay. All right. Well, then, shall we take it to a vote? Okay.
yes, please.
All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
And opposed, 1 nay. Okay, the motion carries to recommend to the prosecutor that he go forward with the document that we have in front of us.
Direction taken.
Okay?
Thank you.
Direction taken. Anything further from the commissioners?
No, sir.
Anything further from the prosecutor?
Not from my office.
Public comment.
Yeah, 11 years I've been doing this, I've never sat through one of these before. It's kind of surprising, it's me, but 11 years of it. And I don't want to go too far, but I think we had a strong case, but it's not worth following up on because all you're going to get is a $250 fine. So it's not worth spending another $5,000, $6,000 on. That's it.
Public comment.
There's a lot I could say, but I guess, I don't know. I guess I got no comment.
No comment today. No comment today. Okay, with that, we are adjourned.